Hello everyone, Elizabeth Taylor here, founder and CEO of Beyond Book Solutions, your go-to bookkeeper for construction business owners. I help you save time, save money, and pay yourself more. Today, we're tackling a critical issue that many construction business owners and business owners in general face: undercharging for your services. You might not even realize it, but this common problem has seriously impacted your revenue and growth. So let's dive into the 5 most common reasons you might be undercharging and, more importantly, how to fix them. All right, let's get straight into it. The first reason you might be undercharging is a lack of confidence in your expertise. It's pretty common to doubt your skills, especially when you are just starting out or facing a new type of project or something that's completely outside of your comfort zone. You might find yourself thinking, I don't have enough experience, or I'm just like any other contractor. These thoughts can really undermine and affect your pricing strategy. How do you recognize it? Here's how you know if this is your issue. If you catch yourself second-guessing your abilities or constantly comparing yourself to others, especially your competitors, you're probably underestimating your value. You're thinking twice to quote higher prices because you think, what if they don't think I'm worth it? How to overcome it? Building confidence takes time, but it's absolutely doable. Start by recognizing and challenging those negative thoughts. Ask yourself some high-quality questions. How have I successfully completed similar projects in the past? What unique skills and knowledge do I bring to the table? How can I clearly demonstrate my experience to clients? Let me give you an example. I had a client who was great at custom home builds, but always priced himself too low. We worked on identifying his successful past projects by looking at his books, of course, and the unique way he worked and how to communicate that to clients. Slowly but surely, he started quoting higher prices, and guess what? Clients were willing to pay because they saw the value. Remember, your confidence directly influences how clients see you. If you don't believe in your value, why should they? So consistently reinforce your worth and don't shy away from setting your prices accordingly. The second reason you might be undercharging is because of false assumptions about your clients. Many contractors assume that their clients can't afford higher rates or won't value their work enough to pay more. You might think, my clients are on a tight budget, or I'd rather take a lower rate to up my chances in winning this bid in war. Those thoughts might seem rational, but they are often just excuses to avoid tough conversations about money. How do you recognize it? Well, if you're constantly lowering your prices because you think clients can pay more, or if you avoid discussing pricing altogether, you are probably falling into this trap. Another sign is if you're taking on projects at lower rates just to secure the job, hoping it will lead to more work in the future. So how do you overcome it? The key here is to separate facts from assumptions. Instead of guessing your client's financial limits, have an open conversations to understand their needs and limits. Ask yourself, what will the client's financial return on investment would be from this project? What intangible benefits will the client gain? Why would paying more will benefit the client in the long run? Let's take an example from one of my consulting clients. He assumed his clients couldn't afford premium prices for renovation projects. By shifting his focus to the value he provided, he started negotiating better rates and saw an increase in client satisfaction. So next time, instead of assuming your client's budget constraints, focus on the value you bring and have those important money conversations. You'll often find that clients are willing to pay for quality and reliability. The third reason you might be undercharging is due to negative beliefs about money. This one's more internal mindset related, but just as impactful. If you're starting to think like, I shouldn't be greedy, I don't need that much, I can't charge that much, you're setting yourself up for undercharging. These beliefs cannot sabotage your business growth without you even realizing it. So how do you recognize it? Ask yourself if you feel guilty about charging higher prices or if you downplay the worth of your work. If you consistently tell yourself you don't need or deserve to make more money, that's a clear sign of negative money beliefs. And how do you overcome it? Start by identifying both positive and negative thoughts about money. Challenge the negative ones and replace them with thoughts that support your financial goals. For example, instead of thinking, I shouldn't be greedy, reframe it to, This will help people recognize the value I provide. I had a client who was fantastic at what he did, but always priced his services too low because he didn't want to seem too money hungry. We worked on shifting his mindset to see that charging what he was worth wasn't greedy, it was fair. By valuing his work properly, he started attracting better clients who appreciated his expertise and not just price shoppers. Building a healthier relationship with money is very important. When you charge appropriately, you're not just benefiting yourself, you're also setting a standard for the industry and helping clients understand the true value of quality work. I know this one's a little bit harder to overcome as we've all been raised differently and you have a lot of money stories that you can carry around. Now, let's move on to the fourth reason you might be undercharging: not accounting for all project costs. One big mistake contractors make is not fully accounting for all the costs involved in the project. That includes materials, labor, equipment, and even unexpected expenses. When you underestimate these costs, you end up undercharging and eating into your profits. So how do you recognize it? If you often find that your projects cost more than you anticipated, and if you're regularly dipping into your own pocket to cover expenses, a huge no-no, by the way, you're probably not accounting for all project costs properly. So how do you overcome it? Start by creating a detailed budget for each project. Include every possible expense, no matter how small. Factor in a contingency for unexpected costs, usually around 10-15% of the total budget. Regularly update your budget as the project progresses. I had a client who frequently underestimated his project costs. We implemented a more detailed budgeting process, accounting for every expense and adding a contingency fund. Because in construction so many things could go wrong, from weather and delivery delays to bursting pipes, this change helped them avoid unexpected financial shortfalls and allowed him to price his projects more accurately. Remember, a well-planned budget not only helps you avoid financial surprises, but also makes sure you're charging enough to cover all costs and make a profit. The last thing you want is dipping into your own savings, then chasing up the clients for payments so you could replace what you've lost. When you have a detailed budget beforehand, plus an effective, foolproof way of invoicing clients, you're golden. And the fifth reason is not updating your markup according to your changing numbers. This is a big one. It's often overlooked. Your overhead costs can change frequently. And if you're not adjusting your markup to reflect those changes, you could be losing money on every single job. How do you recognize it? How can you tell if you're not updating your markup correctly? Here are some signs. Stagnant profit margins. If your profit margins are staying the same or shrinking, even though your budget versus actual stays on point, you're probably not adjusting your markup properly. Another one is unexpected expenses. Frequently encountering unexpected expenses that aren't covered by your current markup. Another one, cash flow issues. If you're constantly dealing with cash flow problems, it might be because your markup isn't keeping up with your overhead costs. It is so important to regularly review your financials and see if your markup needs adjustment. Many construction business owners set their markup once and forget about it. But that's a big mistake. How do you overcome it? Here's what you need to do. Track your overhead costs. Regularly update those. This includes everything from office rent, utilities and salaries to insurance and equipment maintenance. Once you have your updated overhead costs, look at the percentage that you are spending on overhead and recalculate your markup. Finally, adjust your quotes. Make sure every new project quote reflects the updated markup. That ensures that all your costs are covered and you're not eating into your profit margins. Keeping an eye on those overhead costs and regularly updating your markup will help you stay profitable and avoid surprises. Let me give you a real-life example to further my point. I was working with Tom, a construction business owner. He was experiencing cash flow issues despite having a pretty decent stream of projects. He had no clue why his profits were dwindling. We started by taking a detailed look at his overhead costs. Over the past year, his office rent had increased by 10%. He had hired 2 new employees and his insurance premiums had gone up. And no surprise there, Tom hadn't adjusted his markup to account for all these changes. Together, we recalculated his markup based on the new overhead costs. It turned out that his previous markup was too low to cover those increased expenses, so he was able to set more accurate quotes for his projects. So there you have it, the 5 most common reasons you're undercharging as a construction business owner and how to fix them. Overcoming these obstacles is very important for building a successful and profitable construction business. So start today by challenging your beliefs, valuing your expertise, and setting your prices accordingly. Your business success depends on it. I'll leave you with this one last piece of advice. It's okay to charge what you're worth and what you think will benefit your company the most. Stop undercharging and stop undervaluing yourself. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe. See you in the next video.